let's not bring people at the end of AI implementation. They should actually be brought at the onset, understand the nature of the change, which is almost a paradigm shift. That's the whole idea of becoming AI enabled.
How's it, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Exponential Africa, where we are bringing you the best in thought leadership, innovation, and technology from around the globe. And we've been spent a lot of time talking about AI, what it can do, how fast it's moving, and the impact it's already having. But we're now entering a new phase. AI is no longer just improving jobs. It's reshaping entire economies, from how value is created, to how work is distributed, to how organizations operate. The rules are being rewritten in real time. And for Africa, this presents both a challenge and a massive opportunity. To unpack this, I am joined by Mark Nasila, who is one of Africa's leading voices in AI, data, and enterprise transformation. He is a world-class author and a singularity expert. Mark, so great to be with you here today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Mick. Great to be here. Looking forward to this conversation today.
I love it. And maybe Mark, just to start, I think you've taken on a new role. Do you want to just share what is your new role at FNB currently?
Thank you, Mick. So I used to be the Chief Data Analytics Officer for the risk function across FastRand. I've taken on a new role to lead the AI strategy across the group. And my key function is to architect and spearhead how the organization leverages AI as a strategic enabler to build intelligence in the way we offer products and services, drive efficiency and effectiveness, and make sure we redefine ourselves for the future.
Amazing, amazing. Well, congratulations. And I think it's never been a more pertinent time to have you focus on those issues. And like, if you think about today's discussion is going to really be about how AI, the AI economy that's coming, and how work is being rewritten because of AI. So let's start there. Like, what do we actually mean when we talk about an AI economy?
Economy, we're referring to the shift in the economic impact or even societal impact that is being realized from AI as a technology. And when we talk about AI as a technology, we're talking about beyond AI, the tool. We're talking about the impact of AI around how organizations and countries are creating value, how they're distributing intelligence and redefining digitization, and how the same intelligence is being consumed across the world. And this means that the impact is being resulted from productivity, how people work. New business models are being created. And most importantly, data is becoming the capital. The same way minerals and agricultural resources were the capital, the new business models that are leveraging data as a resource today are selling intelligence, like proactive insights or predictive maintenance or just data informed decisions within organizations.
I love it because, I mean, we've been discussing this for quite a long time about what's coming with AI, and now it's actually happening, where we're moving from labor-driven to intelligence-driven economies. Like you said, we're selling this intelligence as a core product now, and data as a core asset. I think it's just incredible for these new forms of value creation. But tell me, how do you think this is different from previous technological shifts?
Mick, there's a lot of differences that we're already seeing unraveling. And the first one is at the speed at scale. It's not the first time we have a technology, but it's the first time we have a technology that is moving and changing so fast that we're even concerned. The scale is the fact that this technology is redefining every single industry. It's redefining the future of work, but also it's redefining almost what the meaning of life is. From the nature of work, previous technologies almost complemented the physical aspects of work. When you looked at the manufacturing and physical industries, technology helped take away the physical aspect. This technology today is redefining all aspects, including cognitive aspects of work like judgment. It's impacting creativity. But I think most important, when you reflect on, for example, how previous technologies impacted industries like banking or manufacturing, they were more incremental. They kept on iterating the same value proposition. For this specific one, we're seeing a transformative impact. In other words, AI is changing the value proposition. Instead of, for example, selling check accounts, credit products, banks today are selling experience, which fall under the banner of context. But also, let's not forget, for the first time, we have a self-improving technology. So today, we're talking about AI that we're seeing today will be the worst version of it today. It will keep on improving and improving over time.
Yeah, it's a really, really exciting time. There's never been a technological shift like we're about to experience, and that speed of change, like you mentioned, is exactly what we speak about at Singularity, this exponential change that we're experiencing
Exactly.
now. And
Yes.
so what happens to jobs as like AI is becoming more capable? Well, what's going to happen to all our jobs, in your opinion?
Mick, that's a very controversial topic, and it's a global topic that is being spoken about. At the beginning of this year, two of the 10 predictions we made about AI were around the future of work and people. And this was around, okay, maybe even organizations, to make sure we deal with the job issue, is we need to rethink AI strategies as people strategies. But also, we were expecting to see a lot of organizations redefine jobs, and we're seeing that. We've had Oracle, lay off 30,000 people, with the likes of Amazon, Meta following the same trend. But realistically, whether it's because of expected future gains or AI is transforming tasks or even taking away tasks and jobs, we're seeing a significant jobs impact. And this impact is either means that organizations don't need people in some tasks, but also the same organizations are repurposing people to where they're much more needed. The World Economic Forum estimates that at the end of it all, we're going to see a net impact of positive growth of 78 million jobs. But this is not just going to happen because AI is in place. It must be engineering into new operating models. And therefore, as leaders and organizations, we need to manage that transition, focus on augmenting work so that people can apply their skills, come up with new roles where they are needed, but also focus on AI specific roles like AI ethicists or even AI product managers. These are AI roles that are specifically required to manage the value chain of AI production. But I think for the first time, I have to say this, organizations will need critical roles of focus on protecting jobs. That's why you'll see like countries like Canada have come up with, with a Ministry of Job Creation. China today has a Ministry of Human Resources, whether it's to drive policies or to drive regulations, but organizations will also need individuals to focus that on making sure organizations invest in AI in such a way that there is a net positive impact in growth of opportunities to have people play a role in helping organizations in an AI-driven world.
Yeah, thanks for that. I totally agree with you. I think, based on what we've seen in the past and what we're seeing now is that, like I just heard a stat recently that the top paying and the top jobs of today's times didn't exist 10, 20 years ago, So, and these are all new, the best jobs that we have right now. So there's going to be all these new jobs that are coming into the sphere. And we're going to have to create that human AI collaboration.
Exactly.
Let me ask you, like, what skills matter most in this new world? What skills to you are the most important, and how do we, to ensure job security and job creation?
Um, there's a lot of skills today that are still relevant in an AI-driven world, and the best way to think about this, especially from a human perspective, is we need to equip ourselves with skills that complement AI, or in other words, skills that AI is not good at. And think about human-centric skills like being empathetic. Um, Empathy is a big driver of good problem solving. People who are empathetic pay attention to detail. They understand how things work together. We're talking about leadership, being able to adapt in a changing world, being able to be agile or agility. But other skills that make us more human, like critical thinking, AI literacy, understanding how AI works, its limitations, and the risks that come with it, as well as what role AI can play in organization. Let's not forget what draws us apart from technology as human beings is creativity and being able to adapt in the physical world and learn and plan for the future. Those are the skills that will help complement AI. Because I think as we know, there is no organization that is going to survive the future without AI.
Absolutely. I mean, as any organization that's not adopting an AI strategy or bringing AI into the organization through tooling or infrastructure is really going to be in a tight spot in the next couple of years. And I love what you're saying about these different ideas of critical thinking and problem solving and digital fluency. Also, emotional intelligence, I think, is a key skill, because we're going to have a lot more time as humans to deal with each other on an emotional level, thanks to the assistance of AI, right?
Exactly.
Now, Mark, like, you're seeing this in the front lines, and what, in your opinion, how are organizations actually being reshaped by AI?
If you reflect, sometime last year, MIT published a study saying, uh, despite so much investment in AI, there was only 5% of organizations that had realized value. This year, the statistics have improved. We're seeing up to 45% of organizations almost having evidence of measurable value that is defendable to its customers and shareholders. And mostly is around automating and redefining operational tasks at the background, with a view of automating tasks, mundane tasks like, collecting information or things that technology is good at. We're seeing a lot of organizations make data-informed decisions to help drive proactive decision making, understand the future much better. In this fast too, I can give you an example. In my recent previous role in risk, where AI automated the generation of due diligence synopsis reports. Instead of our analysts writing all these many pages of documents, AI does that, enabled by small language models. We had fraud models that proactively identify incidents. Our marketing models help identify the right products at the right time for the right customer. But also the element of personalization today is being enabled by AI, with a view of making sure recommender engines are driving personalization at scale. We know very well there's an expectation from customers and citizens for products and services to be offered for who they are as well as how they behave. Predictive maintenance is another area, and we've seen a lot of factories today invest in AI to make sure that organizations make proactive maintenance decisions as opposed to things failing fast. So we see organizations look at one or two areas, but there's almost a holistic approach in identifying opportunities. And last but not least, we're seeing a lot of leaders now use technology to uncover new opportunities and redefine themselves, because old operating models of product and services are almost dying away as intelligence takes over.
Incredible. So you have to really rethink your whole organization now with the assistance of AI. like to be an AR first company. I think in the future we're going to see AR only companies.
Exactly. And think about intelligence replacing products and people working with intelligence to make decisions. And partially we already do that, Mick, because we use our phones to get directions on navigation. We use them to get the weather forecasts and make decisions on what we're going to wear. This is just at scale of the way we work and how we offer products and services to our customers and citizens.
And now instead of paying the map company, you're going to be paying in tokens.
Exactly, and yes, exactly, and we have to spend on data as a resource as opposed to spending on other forms of expenditure that are not are dying away very quickly.
And I mean, what are some of the biggest mistakes you're seeing right now by leaders? Like, what are some of the mistakes you think leaders are making by either employing AI or coming up with an AI strategy, or trying to adopt a different tool, or making investments into AI?
So, me, when you look at the amount of investments that has gone into AI and resources infrastructure, globally, you'll see that it's not an investment issue anymore, but more of a tactical strategic execution that is actually coming up from, for example, leaders leading AI adoption from a technology perspective as opposed to a value conversation. And by that, I mean, there's so much focus on the coolness or how nice the technology is other than its role in reshaping an organization strategy. In other words, a lot of organizations actually lack a vision and they cannot articulate the role of AI in driving their vision. And that is the dirty side of AI we don't like. Just like minerals, we used to go down underground and look for where the gold is. Organizations have to spend time to understand where will AI play a role. One of the predictions I mentioned earlier was people strategy, and this is a culture aspect. Becoming AI enabled is an organization transform. It's an organization transformation strategy that is required to enable people not just trust but work with the technology. So let's not bring people at the end of AI implementation. They should actually be brought at the onset, understand the nature of the change, which is almost a paradigm shift. But also there's an element of underestimating the scale of AI. If we're talking enterprise AI, we're talking about changing everything across the organization, changing processes holistically. And that means that not just focusing on proof of concepts or experiments, but focusing on how things work together and the change that is required to make sure that things work differently, which includes people. Then there's a big narrow focus on the role of AI because people, I'm seeing big talk on like, oh, we're saving hours, or we're saving time takes to do this. That is actually a very narrow focus on AI. And instead of focusing on time savings, we need to think, leaders need to have a bigger shift in thinking of how processes have changed now that we have AI in place, how people are working differently now that we have AI in place. I don't think time is going to bring so much value, but transformed models will help organizations create value from capacity that is being unlocked now that AI is automating processes, or even leverage human creativity now that people are focused on applying their human intelligence. Those are some of the challenges we're seeing in the industry.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's totally spot on. I think the biggest thing is people are underestimating the power of AI. And I think, because there's so much hype, and there's so much excitement. And we've seen this in multiple industries all the time. When the hype machine gets going, it starts, creating a lot of this groundswell of hype. And a lot of people don't believe that hype. So they underestimate what's coming.
Exactly. Yeah,
And they have a lack of strategy, and they don't experiment, and they don't have enough investment in talent or in AI products.
Exactly.
But this
Exactly,
time
Nick.
is different.
I must say, when ChatGPT launched, the human-like language was very exciting and fascinating. It led to a lot of promise. But over time, we realize, and leaders must understand, that as a capability is just a tool. You still need to use it to engineer value to enable your vision. So if you have a good vision and articulate clearly how this technology will enable it, you'll succeed.
Absolutely believe that. Huh?
Yeah.
The companies that embrace AR are going to thrive, and the ones that don't are going to really struggle to keep up. And I mean, where's
Exactly.
Africa in this whole conversation? Where does Africa sit in the AI economy?
Make Africa is in a make or break situation.
Make or
and,
break.
and yes, make or break. And I'm saying this because depending on the decisions we make today, we could either succeed or we could fail. On the positive side, I mean, we have a very young tech savvy population that could form a population that will consume AI products and drive the development of products. There's a rapid development or even rapid growth of access to the internet, which means together with the opportunities we have across all industries to become more efficient, to become more effective, to drive industrialization, Africa is well placed to become a global AI economic hub, to create jobs, to make sure that we create the need of people in the way we strategize. The unique opportunities we have lie across all industries, whether it's the energy industry, manufacturing, uh, you know, uh, tourism. All of them have an opportunity to help us, not just leapfrog our competitors, but grab our unique opportunities. And sometimes I think we waste a lot of time competing and measuring ourselves against our peers when we should just be focusing on our own identity. On the flip side, the challenges we have are clearly holding us back. For example, I think our investment we only have 1% of global investment in data centers and infrastructure. We don't have so much talent that is actually spearheading intelligence productivity. I think we only have 3% of AI talent across the world. And I'm not saying we lack talent, but our talent is actually either migrating or moving to organizations across the world where AI is where their skills can be applied. Uh, General literacy around how AI works and how people can use it is also lacking. But most importantly, we lack policies and strategies that define the role AI will play, either at organization levels. And I think we're taking so long. And you heard what happened in South Africa, where we published a policy and it turns out it had so much issues of hallucination. So things like that are basics that are holding us back, because you cannot adopt a technology without knowing what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, yeah. We are, if you look at the conversation at the moment, it's America and it's China. You know that they have the
Exactly.
frontier models that are everyone is using. I think everyone in South Africa either uses an American or a Chinese frontier model. Maybe you use Mistral if you're trying to do some sort of AR image recognition or something. But majority, probably 99.9% are using ChatGPT, Claude, Grok,
Well, yes,
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek. But listen, Mick, let's also not underestimate the likes of Singapore, Canada, France. Now, France, is phasing out Zoom and Teams with a view of being independent and exercising sovereignty over its technology. And I think you and I, wrote the book on sovereign artificial intelligence. That independence is also, and control is also critical in controlling the future. So those countries, even though they are not producing platforms, but they've got clear strategies articulating how technology is going to serve the countries and organizations.
I think that's a great point as well, because we could actually leapfrog, even though we're very far behind. We can, by using AI, by embracing AI technology, we can leapfrog, we can create our own applications and products and services. But at the foundation level, at the frontier model level, and at the infrastructure and data level, the only way we're going to compete at that level is if we get the right investment and if we get the right backing from government.
Exactly. And
Us coming up and competing on a global scale.
exactly, Mick. And in the book, we're not saying we don't want to collaborate. We say we want to partner with a view of the fact that we're treating AI and data as national assets. We want to control other benefits like, industrialization and job creation. We want to make sure that strategically we harvest all benefits beyond just the efficiencies and the effectiveness from AI. That's the whole idea of becoming AI enabled. And those are the opportunities we missed out on the previous industrial revolutions. We don't want to make the same mistakes this time.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely. And, I think it's going to be in a very, very interesting future. And thank you for all the work that you're doing to try and help us
Thank you.
embrace artificial intelligence.
Thank you so
Along
much.
with what we're doing at Singularity, we're trying to really upskill people to get ready for this new AI economy that's coming. Let's just maybe close off with some ideas of what does the future look like? What's it going to look like in 5 to 10 years, this AI economy, in your view?
Mick, we're going to see a lot of disruption on the views and the roles AI will place. There is already issues around, for example, why are we seeing so many companies lay off employees? And the whole idea is that there must be alignment on the role of AI so that we can empower people, drive human-led strategies so that we don't create so much destruction in the way of work. We're going to see a lot of countries, especially in Africa, develop strategies and policies to make sure that they articulate how organizations can go around safely and ethically implementing AI. The topic of environment and clean energy is also going to be a big discussion to make sure that as much as we're implementing in AI, we're controlling how much energy it's consuming as well as its pollution from data centers to the environment. There will be a big focus on people strategy. And organizations must invest in education and upskilling and not just training people to talk about what AI is, but helping them apply their human specific skills in new operating models so that people are not left behind. For nations, we're going to see them treat AI as a national strategic asset because actually it is. Its implications are so massive to the economy across all industries. And that's why every organization must treat it as such. And we don't want just China and America to keep doing this very well. We must also take ownership of this implication, or else we will have let down the next generation based on our decisions today.
Totally agree, Mark. Thanks for that. And as everything is changing so profoundly, we need to think about how we're going to get into these new roles and out of the traditional ways of doing things. Mark, let's just have a quick lightning round of questions. I just want to give me like 1 or 2 word answers, very short answers. Let's just get your opinion on some lightning round questions.
Cool.
Okay. So tell me, what is one thing that leaders are underestimating about AI?
AI risks.
Okay. And one thing that's being overhyped?
Generative AI and large language models.
And one opportunity Africa must not miss?
AI industrialization.
And will every job have an AI co-pilot, in your opinion?
Every existing role that has some sort of AI enablement, will have an AI copilot.
Which was going to be
But
everything.
not everything. We're going to
Anything
need
that's not going to have
we,
AI.
we're going to need plumbers who don't use AI.
Robots.
No, plumbers who are not robots, humans. And teachers who will focus on nurturing human skills.
Yes. No, well, thank
Yes.
you so much, Mark. I think what's clear from this conversation is that we're not just entering a new phase of technology, we're entering a new phase of the economy, an AI-driven economy where intelligence, speed, and adaptability will define success. And for Africa, you heard Mark, this is our make or break moment, a moment to lead, to leapfrog, and to shape how these systems are built and applied. Mark, thank you so much for sharing your insights, and thanks to everyone for watching. The future of work is not something that's coming, it's something that is already here. And the question is, are you ready for it? So let's keep building Exponential Africa. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mick. I appreciate having me here.